perspective. A viewpoint that informs subjective opinion. And on June 9, 2012, the collective perspective seemed clear.
And the left hand moves Bradley halfway across the ring, and Pacquiao drives him into the ropes.
A sense that Manny Pacquiao's apparent domination of Timothy Bradley Jr. ought to be rewarded, even if there was at least one voice of dissent.
I was landing great shots, man, and I didn't hear anybody say anything about him. That fight was close, and the judges saw that.
And in the end, only those three judges' perspectives truly mattered.
And new WBO welterweight champion of the world, Timothy
Nearly 2 years after that fateful night, each fighter's outlook has evolved. Their stories as much defined by their divergent roads to this showdown as by the reckoning that awaits.
He's been knocked out!
One has collected the shattered pieces of a career in limbo and embarked on rebuilding and resurrecting his once fearsome reputation. The other emerged from the raging fire of controversy, fueled by disrespect and doubt, to finally deliver an assured confirmation of his talents.
And Bradley almost knocks Marquez down.
And now, as Manny Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley Jr. get set to cross paths once again, one singular perspective reigns above all. For both men, tonight is about the ultimate validation.
I will bring back the aggressiveness and the killer instinct. I can prove it in this fight.
What is it that just keeps bothering me, man? It's the whole Pacquiao situation. I want to win, and I want the credit for it.
Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley Jr., the rematch. Next.
Why was there controversy about the decision? Well, first of all, the judges do not see CompuBox numbers nor hear CompuBox numbers, not a part of their frame of reference when they judge the fight. But fans hear them, and fans see them. And these numbers seem to say that Manny Pacquiao had won the fight as he landed 94 more punches overall, throwing 88 fewer punches, and therefore landing at a significantly higher connect percentage. In the power shot category, those were not jabs. In the power shot category, Pacquiao landed 82 more punches, threw 103 more, landed at a significantly higher percentage, 39% to 28%. Since that time, what did Pacquiao do? Both performances were in some way, in my view, a reaction to what had happened in the Bradley fight. Was he pressing too hard for a knockout against Marquez? And he got knocked down by a counter shot in the third round, but then got up and seemed to be seizing control of the fight as he won the fourth round, knocked Marquez down in the fifth round, and then was bloodying his face, touching him up in the sixth round, and by his account, thinking in his mind that he was pressing forward toward a knockout as the round progressed toward the close, but put himself in a vulnerable position for one of those thunderous right-hand counter shots by Marquez, and wound up face down on the canvas, a picture that would dominate the web around the world for the following 24 hours afterward. He took almost a year off, and then in need of a get-well win, came back November 23 in Macau, China, against relatively stolid statue Brandon Rios, who didn't have the foot movement or the athletic quality to deal with the whirling dervish that Manny Pacquiao is still at age 35 capable of beating. And Pacquiao was able to land more or less at will throughout the fight, but his critics point out, did not press forward, did not seek a knockout, did not show the quote killer instinct that fans believe he may not now have in the fight against Brandon Rios. Tail of the tape now for Pacquiao against Bradley. You see the 5-year age advantage for the California fighter. They're equal in height at 5 feet 6. Pacquiao has an arm length advantage of 1 inch, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Bradley weighed in 1/2 pound heavier yesterday at the weigh-in, and both superbly conditioned athletes have rehydrated only 6 or so pounds overnight Bradley will enter the ring weighing 152. Pacquiao weighing 151. It's a wash. There is no particular physical advantage to be seen in those numbers. And now here comes Manny Pacquiao. Still able to smile and grin and trade greetings with those along the way as he makes his way to the ring. Always, throughout his career, one of the most relaxed fighters we've ever seen in this moment, getting ready for a big competition.
Well, I think part of that reason, Jim, is because he has so much, he's just such a high impact guy that relaxation for normal people wouldn't seem like this. He's so high intense that his relaxation is this because of his intensity level, because of how high he can go.
Almost everybody, Roy, sees the political career as a conflict with his boxing. Is it possible that the pressures he experiences, the work grind that he goes through as a politician, are in fact complementary in a positive way to what he does as a fighter?
Yes, they're complementary in a positive way because he still feels like he's doing the same thing that he does in the ring. In the ring, he feels like he's conquering the world to, in some way, help his people and help the world. So in politics, he feels like he's still helping his people, helping the world, trying to do a better thing or trying to make the world a better place. So I think it helps him.
Max Kellerman, some ring critics say they see slippage. Do you see slippage in Manny Pacquiao? And if so, does it show up in any way in moments like this?
He's probably a half step slower than he was. Anytime a guy looked as dynamic as Pacquiao did against De La Hoya and Hatton, that's partly greatness, partly matchmaking. When he started fighting great fighters in their primes again, Juan Manuel Marquez was a still great fighter as it turned out. Tim Bradley, a top undefeated fighter. Suddenly the going gets a little rougher.
As he enters the arena, his advantage in terms of crowd support becomes more obvious, and the grin on his face becomes more radiant.
And although I'll tell you, after mentioning the Bradley fight, don't get fooled by the decision. I actually thought that was a tremendous performance by Pacquiao. As I mentioned, a top undefeated fighter who always seems to find a way to win. To me, it looked like it was a different level of athleticism and ability in the ring that night. And that's saying something when you're fighting Tim Bradley.
It sure is, but the thing is now what's going to be the most interesting thing to see is that's the thing that makes Tim Bradley so dynamic. He can come back and make an adjustment and make up for that big disadvantage. So tonight we get to see if he can make the adjustment.
So Pacquiao and Roach are in the ring. A look at the last, well, not really the last four, some recent notable fights for Manny Pacquiao. So what did Tim Bradley do after the Pacquiao fight? Well, by his own admission, he was driven to depression by the response to the Pacquiao fight and the feeling on the part of so many others that he was not, in fact, the winner. And he felt dispossessed and rejected by boxing fans. And he made a decision in his mind that if he was going to fight Ruslan Provodnikov, a career brawler with tremendous power, then he would go ahead and fight in a style that would make fans appreciate his desire for entertainment, his will to give them thrills. And it almost cost him a loss, as he was knocked down in the 12th round, and he had been knocked silly in the first round by his own admission, suffered a concussion from that, the symptoms of which lasted 2.5 months, but he won a close unanimous decision over Provodnikov. And then he took on Juan Manuel Marquez in October, wanting to deepen the impact of his official win over Pacquiao by beating the man who had knocked Pacquiao out in the preceding December. And it was a brilliant battle down the stretch. Bradley just eking out some advantages in landed punches in the last couple of rounds, in ring generalship, and one last big shot at the end that seemed somewhat to stagger Marquez, although Marquez may have had a balance problem at that moment, and ultimately it was a split decision victory for Timothy Bradley, and unlike the decision win over Pacquiao, this one was popular. Most of the boxing world agreed that Bradley had deserved to be the winner over Juan Manuel Marquez. And now here he comes, the Desert Storm. And you can never forget, in sizing up Tim Bradley, that this is a man who on May 10, 2008, had his first really big exposure, his first fight outside of his native California, halfway around the globe against Junior Witter in Nottingham, England. He had to win that fight for his career to continue on a positive path. He and his wife, Monica, had $12 in the joint checking account at the moment we got on the plane to go and fight the fight. And he won it.
The reason Tim Bradley said he felt suicidal at times after the Pacquiao decision that he got was because here's a guy who's all real. Everything he ever did in his career was real, without great backing. Had to go around the world beating guys in their hometowns, getting up off the deck. So to be known as a fraud after that fight rankles him in a different way even than it would rankle a normal person. Bradley comes into this fight with something to prove, and as you pointed out, Jim, he said he's going for the knockout. The last time he came into the ring with something to prove, he fought the fight of the year against Ruslan Provodnikov, but admitted afterwards he shouldn't have fought that way.
But some say, why be talking about a knockout when you don't have a knockout puncher's identity and you have only 12 knockouts in 31 previous fights? Never discount Bradley's aim to be different. He's a different kind of guy. Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions of the fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, Mr. Bob Arum and Top Rank Incorporated, along with MP Promotions, are proud to present the rematch. The rematch the world has been waiting for. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Tecate Con Carácter, PlayStation 4, Greatness Awaits, Smart Communications of the Philippines. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission Chairman Francisco Aguilar, WBO President Francisco Paco Barcarcel, Supervisor in attendance Jose Izquierdo. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout, Craig Metcalf, Michael Pernick, and Glenn Trowbridge, and inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Kenny Bayless. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, with his head trainer Freddie Roach wearing white with blue, officially weighing in at 145 pounds. His professional record, 55 victories, including 38 knockouts, with 5 defeats and 2 draws. In 8 weight divisions, he's captured 8 world titles. From Sarangani Province, the challenger, the fighting pride of the Philippines, 8-time world champion, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao! And fighting out of the blue corner, the red corner, with his head trainer, Joel Diaz, wearing combat camouflage and officially weighing in at 145 1/2 pounds. A perfect professional record consisting of 31 fights, 31 victories with 12 knockouts. From Palm Springs, California, USA, the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO welterweight champion of the world, Timothy Desert Storm Bradley.
Okay, fellas, trunks are good on both sides. We went over the rules in the dressing room. I'm going to protect you, but you have to protect yourself at all times and keep this fight clean at all times. And remember what I say, you must obey. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Bradley told Pacquiao, "You don't have it anymore, Manny." Manny Pacquiao said, "We'll see you in the ring." Bradley told Pacquiao, "I'm going to knock